And here we are, where I start this relationship with Lucheplan, that now is a company that we have a really good relationship. We have a very, very deep relationship because they have dreams, I have dreams, and we speak with dreams, and that is really beautiful. But we work hard to make that dream sometimes reality. I think it's the first time that I was able to give, let's say, my best, or I was able, because of the situation, to achieve results where many aspects of the project were together. And they asked me to do a chandelier. Alessandro Sarfati, that now became a really good friend of me, he's the CEO of Lucheplan, he asked me to do a chandelier. And if you know the project of Lucheplan, you will see that it's a really tough thing, because Lucheplan is not a decorative company. Lucheplan is a company that produced, in my opinion, the more beautiful objects in the last 20 years or 30 years. But that objects, the beauty of that object came from intelligence. It not came from simple decorative things. So they are decorative, but because you see this amazing quantity of intelligence inside of that object. And to do a chandelier that is pure decorative was almost impossible. In fact, they were working, or they were trying to do a chandelier for the last 20 years, and they couldn't find out the key point to discover what to do with it. And here again, the curiosity that leads my understanding of the world, for sure. Few years ago, like now 7 years ago, but 5 or 4 years ago, that I started to work with for whole chandelier, I was in a party and I have this friend that had this cushion done with Fresnel lenses, something of the more kitsch thing you will see in your life. But everybody was partying, and I was like shocked about this thing, because it was like a piece of glass of this size. See, how come something so thin could look like a piece of glass of this? And I understand about Fresnel lenses, and I start to learn about Fresnel lenses. And then when you learn about something, when you understand how that thing works, that thing became part of your knowledge, let's say part of your essence, and then you can use it to project with it, to design with it. So I understand how Fresnel lens works, and Fresnel lens works in this way. If you take the surface of a Fresnel lens, of a circular lens, you do circular cuts, and project this circular cut to a plane, you see here. You project these cuts in a plane, you will have the same optics qualities of a circular lens in a very flat surface. So that knowledge was, let's say, part of me, because I already tried to understand how Fresnel lens works, and was there in the background. And when I start to play with the theme of the chandelier, if you understand chandelier, it's a very particular object that produces a particular quality of light. It's not an abajur lamp that is really calm, and it's a playful light, full of sparkling pieces of light that reflects many times, because the old chandelier used to have candles, and then you have glasses surrounded like candles, and the glasses reflect the light of the candle many times. So you see more light than the light that was emitted by the candle, and the perception was stronger. So I tried to suddenly this intuition arrived, and maybe was the possibility to make a chandelier with Fresnel lenses. So we take all the heavy of the glass, all the complexity of the glass. If you see a normal chandelier of this size could be like almost 200 kilos, and we will never be able to put in a room like this. But this is so light that you can even put in very normal ceilings. Even I imagine this possibility to be easy to transport, that were difficulties that all the chandelier have. And I started to work in that idea, and I arrived to my friend Alessandro, and I said, I have an idea. Oops. I have an idea. Oh. I'm nervous. Okay, I have an idea. I have an idea. We can do something like this. So we understand what I mean of heuristic process that allow mistakes, that you need to start from an idea and not from a shape. And he believed in this. He's more crazy than me. Sorry?
What is that?
This is my first prototype of hope.
Okay.
Okay? It's not light here, no? You see? Okay? I took some plastic thing of a present length like you find commercially, and I tried to imagine, let's say, that maybe this could work, right? Because my intuition was to transform one valve in many points because you have these spherical lenses in front of the valve. So then I work on this idea to have a module that will surround the valve. We arrived there with a lot of work because at the beginning we tried to cover the valve like a balloon, a football balloon, you know. And sorry, I will move on here to my diatoms. And it's really difficult to. Then I will go back. It's too difficult to cover a surface, a volume, if you want to put all the surface one aside the other. Again, I love diatoms. Diatoms are unicellular microorganisms that are really good, very amazing design. They drawn by Haeckel in the 18th century, and he did the more amazing drawings where I really get inspired, not for the shape, but for the logic of the object. I really always that this thing tortured me almost. That I really want to get the essence of something, not the external stuff. And there are some diatoms that use layerings to achieve volumes. They start small, they go big, and they go bigger, and then with some mathematical logic, they move until they arrive to cover the surface. So getting that logic is what this idea started to become possible. That was to do one model. I go back. To have one model done by 2 layers, yes? One model done by 2 layers that allow me to interact with these layers, to overlap one layer to the other one in the way to cover the lamp, surround it, the valve, and hold it by a structure done with metal, bended metal. The bended metal allowed you to, it's an experience that came in from the other experience that I did before of the table or wherever, that this idea was so difficult to solve the problem to put this model in the space. I remember the first proposal of the technical department of the company. They offered me a way of holding it with a sphere and 2 screws for each model. You know, we need to find another way. We need to find a more simple way. And the end solution that I find is this piece of metal that are so simple with 2 bended here. With this modifying the angle of this bended, this plane modified the angle with perfect precision. So in that way, I managed to generate a perfect plane in the right position to put all the models in the right position to cover the valve and avoid the glaring. Okay, so these were some of the first prototypes. Yes, and here is another part of the ideas of the whole chandelier, how you put these models in the structure, wherever. I do not go too much in details. So we worked for 1 year and a half, or yes, a little bit more. There was the Salone del Mobile coming. They decided just to present this project because it was a very tough year. I know 2008, there was Lehman Brothers stuff, and it was like a terrific year for everybody. So they decided we will present just one project. We will present this project for the Salone, and we will point everything to this project. It was a very courageous attitude. But the problem was that they did the first prototype after all this period of work. invested in some small molds to try to produce the Fresnel lens that was this one. This was a small mold to try how was it to do with injection molding the Fresnel lenses. And because of the technical difficulties in injection molding, it was impossible to do one big Fresnel lens. You need to do small Fresnel lenses like this. So at the end, as you see, you have patterns on patterns and other patterns and more patterns. So no one of us was happy or not happy. I mean, we was moving on. They say, it was Friday, they said, on Monday we need to launch the molds. There was 250,000 euros, the investment of the mold, because the technique to do this was so complex. I didn't sleep all that weekend because I was terrified about the stress of, I didn't like this thing, yes. Maybe you neither. And I worked all that weekend to try to find an alternative solution because it was my first relationship with Lucheplan, and I need I couldn't arrive there and say, no, okay, guys, this is not working, we need to change. I need to arrive with a solution, with something that worked. And we went back to this, to the first idea, used a different technique of production that where the technique always plays with your thoughts and then connotate a lot the object at the same idea, the same thoughts, do it with one technique who became completely different. At the same time, at this moment, we were able to understand the whole problem. Because we do this trial, we understand that there were other problems, for example, the transportation of these models that were so big, or one aside the other became like big boxes to transport a chandelier. So all our dreams of doing a very simple to transport chandelier were going away. And this moment we managed to, let's say, put everything in one clear idea that was this very tiny, very thin arm that hold these two surfaces of lenses in the right places. I did in my workshop, in my studio, this model this weekend, and we arranged a meeting. We canceled the launch of the mold on Monday. We arranged this on Friday with this prototype. It was not beautiful at this one, but already showed us that the way was another one to go. And I did this maybe because of the failure of the other lamp, because I didn't accept again another failure, no? And I feel that this was a compromise. We never know until to the end. Maybe we call hope for that, because until to the end, then we find out a very amazing company that produces amazing lenses with very good quality, wherever, but we didn't know until to the end the quality of the lenses, because we put new ideas and new stuff that I cannot explain today, but I saw this picture 1 week before the salon. I really was so stressed. And then all the other parts of the history, you know, Hope is a big success for us in terms of press, in terms of awards. I mean, we win the Compasso d'Oro for me was like a dream from a kid, since I was a kid. And the more nice thing is to see this object maybe surprising us, even because it was more than what we expect, and use in the more different situations and in reality.